side of really promoting students' wellness, and everything that they want to take from their learning into a more business relatable situation. We've seen that Waterloo has been quite successful with this. They really take their students and fund them quite prominently. That's one side of the spectrum. Another side is very private oriented, so they want to really fund strictly private enterprises with already previous success and really get them going on that area. And Y Combinator is something that is being very prominent in this area. We want to position our incubator right in the middle. We want to integrate this academic learning that we've taught at the University of Canada and show them exactly how to integrate this in a private situation. So we want to combine the two to really make this a successful venture. So for our recommendation, we want to focus on three crucial areas. Consolidation of our resources, really focusing in two areas that we feel don't need to be spread out, and making this a more sustainable revenue channel. And our vision, we want to bring some expertise in to really get our incubator on the right track in an area that could be very sustainable and get this moving more successfully. And our plan, we have outlined a plan for you, which we will discuss later on how exactly we're going to do this.
So taking a look at what this consolidation is really going to do for you. As I had previously said, we're looking to consolidate to Saskatoon, focusing on the three main sectors of oil and gas, mining, as well as agriculture, and focusing on high tech in Vancouver. This will reduce your rent expense by half, taking it from $60,000 a year to $30,000 a year, which when you only have $100,000 left in the bank is a significant amount of money. The second will be that you'll be able to provide a sector focus. As I had previously said, Vancouver is very focused on the tech industry. It is currently the #1 place for tech in Canada, so we believe that this is the best campus for that to be focused. In terms of agriculture, oil and gas, and mining, all of those sectors are hit within Saskatchewan as well as the surrounding provinces being Manitoba and Alberta. Not only that, it will also help improve the efficiency of your resources. You only have 4 employees, and having 4 employees across 4 different locations is a very difficult task to manage. So being able to allocate those a little bit better and be able to focus on those startup companies in order to ensure that they're getting all of the help and the resources they need, as well as bringing in additional resources, which we will touch on in a little bit. In terms of how it will look to implement this specific strategy of consolidating the resources, taking a fairly short timeline, as we understand that the issue, especially of the rent, is pressing, we're looking over the course of a year. Keep in mind, as I go through these, that these are not concrete times, but rather guidelines as to where we see these different events occurring. So first, taking a look at 0 to 1 month. This is where you need to inform the president of the university that you are looking to consolidate those and give them back that space that they had loaned you, or rather that you had been renting out in all 4 campuses. Then, of course, informing the university of the lease cancellation to ensure that you do not take on any more expenses than you have to, so making sure that you are ready to be out of there within a month, which we do see as feasible. Communicating to your current company. So as you had outlined to us, you currently have 1 company in each location, but we do believe that they will be willing to work with you in order to move to different locations. And something this is going to do is by moving the companies to the different locations, you'll have 2 companies, potentially 1 to 2 companies per place. With 2 companies, they'll be able to share resources, share the learnings that they've had, and be able to feel as though there's a sense of community within your incubator that you don't currently have. In addition, we want to promote the incubator on campuses. As we have previously touched on, the best part about this incubator being linked to your university is it gives your students the opportunity to have a better access to funding as well as help when they're looking to start their small and medium businesses. Your university is very focused on a management style and cultivating those entrepreneurs as well as people that are looking to work in small and medium-sized businesses. So having this incubator and having students have access to this incubator will be incredible for them, and it'll allow them to add something to their degree that they could not have otherwise. With this, we're looking to put emphasis on Saskatoon and Vancouver because of where those locations are, but not forgetting about the Calgary and Winnipeg locations as well. And finally, looking into university partnerships, if there's any way that different instructors could incorporate the incubator into their curriculum, making it more known to students as well as more known as to what an incubator does and what they can get out of it.
So a key part of this recommendation is seeking out a board of directors and building a group of people that really care about the future of these students. This consists mainly of angel investors who we will seek out to invest in this incubator and consequently in these students who are looking to start up their businesses. We're seeking $550,000, which will take us over 2 years with an extra sum for any other immigrant costs. We're looking for industry leaders with some expertise in startups and any other sort of guidance and vision they can give to us as well as the entrepreneurs we are doing. We want to have access to 3 crucial types of information, which is mentorship, a broad network, and capital, which is vitally important. We want these angel investors to really relate with these entrepreneurs and how they're trying to start up a business, as a lot of us can sympathize with being a student or a new alumni and not having a lot of cash and wanting to start your business and your career. We're going to partner with a university representative as we really want to integrate into the University of Canada. We want them to be a go-to for us, almost creating a co-op situation of being that go-to that the university can hand off students who have great ideas for a new business. We're going to have a student advocate on this board of directors, so it won't just be private investors. We want to combine the two, as I mentioned earlier, of having the academic integration as well as showing them this private enterprise side of entrepreneurship. The implementation we've laid out will be 2 years plus. Like we said, $550,000 can take us 2 years, but the goal is for this to be a sustainable incubator that can keep going for many years. For the first few months, we want to contact the university president. We want to build a relationship with the university and see any options and possibly fairs or other sort of linkages we can make with the university. We want to seek out these investors that have very similar values that align with ours so that the two can integrate very easily. I want to pitch to these incubators that we seek out and really get this moving as soon as we leave this room within the first 2 months. After 2 months, we want to secure the funding. We want to have that funding locked down as soon as we possibly can and start this board of directors and integrate them into this incubator and get this vision and direction going as soon as we can. We want to seek out this faculty representative that will sit on our board and then seek out an alumni representative. So students as well as new alumni, we want this to be one solid group that will be a vital part of this board of directors. After 1 year, we're going to try and grow this board to seek out any new initiatives that we can help our students out with. We want to expand as many startup businesses as we can. We want to create as many opportunities as we can after that $550,000 has been used up or revenue has been produced from that, and seek additional funding as we see fit.
So we've identified 5 keys to Tech Network. We think that there's a certain recipe to making Incubator great, and these are what they are: mentorship, network, funding, in-kind benefits, and innovative startups. Obviously, innovative startups are what you need to have an incubator run. So to get mentorship for Tech Networks, leveraging the networks of your board of directors, your faculty who are industry professionals, and also the alumni who are now professionals as well. Leveraging all of that to to find mentorship for these startups, because that is truly one of the most important parts of an incubator. And then after that, funding. Funding from angel investors. And like Bryn was just saying, the board of directors is going to be made up primarily of angel investors. And so they're in that community of investors. They have friends in that community. And if they are stakeholders in your incubator, they'll be able to relay to their friends, themselves potentially as well, the opportunities for investment with these startups that are looking for funding. In-kind benefits are also big. We're looking for free legal services, accounting, advice, sorts of community sponsorship that really help companies with low cash flow or a little cash who are really running lean. You need them to succeed, to have some sort of sponsorship. And that legal services, partnering with some sort of firm for that is really beneficial. So it's critical to have that. And then, yeah, like I said earlier, innovative startups are the bread and butter of what a good incubator needs. You need good startups to have a good incubator. Let's look at Y-Combinator. So to implement this, 0 to 6 months is starting stakeholder relations. So that's talking and finding these angel investors for your board, finding all of that alumni that is so beneficial with the networks that they've now built professionally. Ensuring your values are aligned with the investors is critical. And we know that your school, the values are sustainability and hands-on work, and so finding investors who aren't just looking for a great return on investment, but also sustainable technologies. Promotion of the incubator to students to really get this off the ground quickly, hopefully get some startups in there as quick as possible within the first 6 months. Seeking sponsors from your community, like law firms, accounting firms. And then establishing a network with your faculty's network. Like I said, and as you know, your faculty has a lot of industry experience, and so they probably know areas where you can source mentorship for these startups. 6 months to 1 year, bringing on student volunteers as staff. What Bryn was saying, just really trying to integrate the academic side of your school with the private side of building a business. And so taking these students and getting them in that tech environment is a great way to gain some experience. Prioritizing student startups. So with applications to tech networks, prioritizing the ones that are coming from University of Canada so that it's your students who are getting the most benefit. Obviously, great ideas from the community will be considered with as much weight, but really trying to promote it for the students is a big thing. And then encourage cross-campus collaboration between industries like mining and high tech. 1 to 2 years, seeking additional startups, really trying to grow your reach and assess your model and evolve. So that, as Y Combinator does, it takes equity from certain startups. So if they really reach that scalability, high growth, they have a stake in that company of somewhere from usually 2 to 7% equity, and so that can be a great long-term revenue model for you guys. If your companies start doing really well, you'll have great returns to keep funding your incubator.
So with every plan, there's risk, and that's what we've outlined here. One that we could see is possibly having a disagreement on the revenue structure that we've outlined with these angel investors. And we really want to work with them and have a solid relationship with not having that disagreement come between us. And so we want to create this beneficial plan and have a win-win situation to balance out the revenue that we want to create, but also a sustainable incubator as well. The companies that we've suggested in Winnipeg and Calgary may not be willing to relocate, and we want to really create a good transition for them. And so maybe having a bus to meetings or Skype calls, etc., to have possibly a long-distance relationship and working further with them in the future. The startups may not scale to provide the equity on revenue, and we just want to have continued support for these startups and help them as much as possible instead of having a hard cut, get rid of them as soon as possible if they're not giving us the revenue we want. We really want to create a good relationship with these startup businesses.
So once again, we believe that by changing your business model and by seeking angel investors that not only share the same values as you, but also will provide these incubators with the guidance and the mentorship that they need, as well as bringing that industry leadership in. You can not only make the community a better place by having incredible small and medium businesses, but you can also provide students with the opportunity to grow a business and a career that they can truly be proud of when they say that they came from the University of Canada. Thank you very much for your time. We would now like to open the floor to any questions you may have.
So just so I'm clear, is it 100% of the revenue projections for the next 2 years is all from angel investors? Is that correct?
Yeah, so because you don't really have much of a revenue stream right now, your funding was cut. You were supposed to get 2 installments, one of $250,000 in January and one of $250,000 in April. But the April one was cut, and so you're really running low right now. Like I said, 4 months of runway before you have zero in the bank. And so what we're hoping to set a foundation for your institution is getting angel investors on board, putting up that upfront capital, because then they'll have access to this network of startups, and just give back to the community that way. And yeah, just have a lot of impact on.
So, and you also put a risk out saying that if they disagree with it, there may be complications. So you identified the four-month runway, which is excellent. So what is our strategy to get beyond that 4 months if this doesn't work out? I just know in my experience, often we talk about over $500,000 here. Major gifts of that nature can often take 12 to 18 months to secure because people need to know the details. So within that 4-month window, do we have any other opportunity before the lights turn on?
With our revenue structure that we did outline is that we are still going to be charging these startups that fee to use the incubators. We had that year of free usage, but we have some startups that are still paying us to use that space and grow their business, so we'll still be creating revenue that way. Our plan suggested that without that if revenue fully stopped, that 4-year runway would be expected.
What are you proposing to give the angel investors in return for the $50,000?
So one of the biggest things that we believe we can offer these angel investors is indirect ownership of these startups. The university is reputable for having university students that as soon as they leave the university, they're ready to hit work and they are very successful. So by investing in the incubator and the incubator then investing in these companies, they'll have access to the startups as in the growth stage, but they'll also have access to these companies that we believe will truly be successful in Canada and potentially worldwide. So they'll have the opportunity to invest further personally if they see fit, as well as because this is a not-for-profit, we do believe that people that are this successful will want to share that knowledge and help others to grow to see their careers get to where these angel investors' careers currently are.
Do you have any concern in putting forward your strategy about narrowing to 2 locations and the impact that might have on your access to future investors?
Vancouver right now has been called the Silicon Valley of the North. I know that there's a large investor community there of angels, venture capital, and we think that by moving the high-tech sector at least to Vancouver, that's going to give the most access to investors possible. And then Saskatoon being the area for the agriculture, mining, and oil and gas, we think that those are 2 strategic locations where you can consolidate your resources, but also gain the most access to a bustling environment for growth for your startup companies.
Can you expand a little bit on the role of the board of directors beyond just their financial contributions?
So one of the things that we saw within your company is it's great, but it might not, it lacks a current vision right now. So we believe that by bringing in a board of directors to kind of govern the incubator as a whole, but also have similar values to the incubator and the university, we can push that incubator in a direction with a vision for a long-term sustainable plan. And them having a financial stake in the company will have them more inclined to get that incubator to where they see that it can be.
Yeah.